On the day I got drunk, I summoned up the courage to confess my love to the straight-A student. Just once. I got sick and was dying. Just like that. I took advantage of my straight-A student and then studied abroad. 3 years later, I went back to China to talk business. And the client was a straight-A student. He gritted his teeth. Sophia. Didn't you say you were dead? Back then medical mix-up. You believe? I'm not going to lie to him. The man with him instantly realized. Is this your dead girlfriend who made you cry your eyes out whenever you think of her? Me? Roses weave romantic dreams. Chase to see roses romantic meaning endless. The romance is endless. Be sure to like, comment, forward, pay attention, turn on the little bell. The beautiful drama on time to embrace. Before graduation, I did a physical examination and found out that cancer. My mind collapsed. I directly found the crushed straight-A student. Just this once. I got sick. Dying. And just like that, I took advantage of the booze to take him for myself. The whole process is dazed and confused. Only feel tingly. Ears seem to be vaguely his gentle call me the voice. I also forgot to embrace him. Ethan. I like you. And goodbye. After the big fight, I sleep tiredly. The next day, I woke up at the urging of the ringing phone. Looking at the half-naked man beside me. My head went blank for a few seconds. Then as an afterthought, I quickly ran to the restroom and answered the call. On the other side was a polite female voice. Ms. Sophia? I lowered my voice. It's me. The voice continued. The results of your medical checkup yesterday. Thinking about the results of yesterday's medical checkup, I dropped my eyes forlornly. The other side, however, gave me a sentence. The results of the physical examination were incorrect. I'm really sorry. You yourself are very healthy. I was no longer in the mood to listen to what the other party said. All I could think of was the sentence. The results of the medical checkup were wrong. I asked again without any calmness. Are you saying that I can still live for a long time? Because of my rash inquiry. The other side let out a low laugh. Ms. Sophia. You're very healthy. You'll surely live a long life. Me. I fucking simply wanted to explode. After hanging up the phone in a daze, I walked out of the bathroom and looked at the sleeping man on the bed. I went numb. If Ethan knew that what I said last night was a lie, and that I took the opportunity to eat him clean, he'd kill me for sure. Unattainable heartthrob straight-A student. Actually planted in my hands. Thinking about it makes one's life short. I shakily picked up the shirt on the floor that I had torn and attempted to recover. And picked up the pants on the floor and tried to help him put them back on. After several efforts and no luck, then I gave up. I brooded beside him for a few seconds and could only pray that he would wake up and forget about my hooliganism last night. Before I left, I looked at the sleeping Ethan and sighed silently. The male sex was confusing. But it was important to run away. Let this misunderstanding be a good thing of the past. After all, we will never cross paths again. After leaving the hotel, I once again took out my cell phone and called my mom's phone. Mom, last time you said you would help me arrange study abstract. I promise you. My mom was flattered. Before, you have been insisting on developing in China. Saying that there are very important people here. Why do you suddenly want to change your mind? I smiled awkwardly and said, I just think what you said is quite reasonable. And I want to go to broaden my horizons. I can't say I'm trying to hide from someone I accidentally slept with. Well, at least this way I'll still have a good impression in Ethan's mind. Well, not the hit-and-run scumbag girl. Right? I got on the plane out of the country without incident. Until I landed. I still had Ethan on my mind. Images of that night began to replay before my eyes. Scene by scene. And my face burned for a moment. It felt like he was just as passionate that night. But it seemed like he was pretty rusty too. I hope he forgets about it soon. He must have been drunk too before he agreed to be took advantage of. After pondering for a long time, I took out my cell phone, clicked on Ethan's messenger, and after a lot of hesitation, I finally clicked on delete and lay. The story about Ethan and I should also draw a conclusion. Moving to a new place. My head was groggy and I slept. And this lie down was directly for the whole day. The next day I woke up to the phone ringing again. I rubbed my foggy head and answered it. BFF's bombastic voice came over the line. What did you do to Ethan? Her first words blindsided me straight away. What did I do to him? BFF's voice on the other side was quite panicked. Ethan is asking around about you. Looking for you all over the world. My temples are swelling with pain. BFF's voice was also shocked. When did you get involved with unattainable heartthrob? I can't believe you didn't tell me. I can't believe you didn't tell me. I can't even explain it in the brief explanation. Actually, I can't say I slept with the school's unattainable heartthrob. Right? And it's the kind of thing where you just lift up your pants and leave. I asked again. Is it true that Ethan is looking for me all over the world? How can it be fake? BFF wailed. He's asking me several times a day. I can't keep saying I don't know. I silently brainstormed Ethan's cold and handsome face. And directly shivered. Such a high and cold man. Somehow being slept with by a small transparent like me. After reacting. He must have been furious. This is not. Began to look for me all over the world. If he found me. It would be strange if he didn't kill me. Thinking everything through. I felt my sweaty hairs stand up. BFF's side was still waiting for my solution. So I braced my uneasy heart. Priggishly pretending. You directly say I'm dead. BFF. You. Cow. BFF still want to continue to press me and Ethan, what the hell is going on? I can only pretend to be profound. This matter is a long story. You won't understand even if I say it. A few more wails came from BFF's side. I could only continue to play deep. Just do as I say. It's all the hospital's fault. Who asked them to give me medical mix-up? And with a little transparency like me, Ethan would surely forget about me as soon as time passed. 3 years later, I returned from my studies. Mom and Dad were very happy with me. I was still able to eat, run and jump, which completely confirmed that the hospital was a medical mix-up at that time. Mom painfully took my hand and said, "Look at how thin my yen has gotten." My father was also smiling from ear to ear. Girls like to be thin nowadays. That's the only way to look good. My daughter looks good any way she wants. The most important thing is to be healthy. I was immersed in the joy of family reunion. But when it came to health, I suddenly thought of Ethan, whom I had completely lost contact with. He was the one who was hurt the most by the medical mix-up. A straight-A student like him. He must have a successful career now. He might have already forgotten about this little incident back then. I tried hard to convince myself to put Ethan out of my mind. Dad suddenly remembered something. Looked at me and said seriously. Right. Dad is going to meet a very important client tonight. Yen. If you don't have anything to do, you can accompany Dad to go together. Just to increase some social experience. Having just returned to China, I agreed to my dad's request. When we arrived at the box, the client had not yet arrived. While we were waiting, my dad was not idle for a moment. By the way, have you carefully read the cooperation letter that I just brought to you? My dad slightly raised his chin. I had to go through a lot of trouble to get this client. I couldn't help but snort out a laugh at my dad's haughty look. Dad. I've read it carefully. My dad's expression was even more serious. This partner is young and talented. And is definitely a model for you to learn from. So you'll be watching from the side in a while. I gave a careless hum. Then realizing the young and talented, my mind suddenly remembered Ethan. Could he be more powerful than Ethan? When Ethan was still in school, he had participated in an off-campus debate competition. And with his excellent business skills, several companies had sent him their offices and offered him a very high salary. But he had rejected them all. He is not only a proper straight-A student. Sports is not inferior at all. The most important thing is that his face value is also particularly high. This is what I call young and talented. Okay? My dad is still talking to me. When the client comes later, you should behave better. Maybe they can give you a few pointers, he said. Let me see what you have learned in your study abroad years. Under my dad's broken heart, I could only pretend to be calm and nodded my head repeatedly. As my eyes wandered, I suddenly noticed a familiar figure outside the box. Suspecting that I was mistaken, I rubbed my eyes and stared dead ahead again, only to see Ethan in a simple suit, one hand falling into his pocket. As he stepped through the door, his gaze fell on me at the same time. For a moment, 4 eyes met. In his eyes I clearly read shock, surprise, and even anger. If eyes could kill, this moment's me might have already been seconded. I quickly moved away from the line of sight, but because of the shock, was choking on saliva, coughing more than cough cough. My dad stood up and smoothed my back. What's wrong? Why are you suddenly coughing like that? I coughed for a while before I managed to get my breath back. As soon as I looked up, I was confronted by that pair of deep to the extreme eyes again. My heart trembled violently. I didn't even dare to think about what would happen if I let my dad know that the client he cared so much about had already been offended by me. I pretended to take out my phone and look at it and started to shove my dad. Dad, my mom sent a message for you to go back. She said she has something for you. Don't worry about the client side. I'll take care of it. My dad, a wife-favoring devil, agreed without saying a word once he heard his wife's summons, and then said to me, agreement I've already negotiated. You do not allow me to get yellow. This is the first time you come back to China to lead you to see the client. You good hospitality. I nodded my head and didn't dare to look up at Ethan. After my dad went back, the whole atmosphere in the private room sank. I weakly looked at the man's cold face, felt the gloomy atmosphere in the box, and came with difficulty. Song. Mr. Song. It's been a long time. Long time no see. I tried hard to ease the atmosphere. That. We are all old classmates. Long time no see. Don't make the atmosphere so stiff. I stood up and poured a cup of water directly into his cup. Come on. Come on. Have a drink of water first. Lower the fire. I was laughing so hard my mouth froze. But Ethan still looked like he was gritting his teeth. He clenched his teeth. Sophia. Aren't you dead? A sentence that directly made my smile disappear. Frozen for a second. I immediately pooh-poohed. I'm alive and well now. Don't say that kind of unlucky words. It seems that what I did in the beginning did cause him quite a bit of harm. Looking at his gloomy face, I tried to explain. Back then medical mix-up. Do you believe it? I really didn't lie to him. Between the atmosphere stalemate. Mr. Song. This document. The man in the same suit came in and was about to hand the document to Ethan when he suddenly glanced at me. His eyes widened in shock. Mr. Song. Isn't this your dead girlfriend who made you cry your eyes out whenever you think of her? Me. This assistant. Do you want to listen to what you're saying first? Then, I realized something was wrong. Girlfriend? You cry when you think about it? Ethan cried his eyes out when he thought of me. Why do I feel as if things have gone beyond my imagination? No way. There must be a misunderstanding. Let's just talk about work stuff. I try to push things on the right track. Why don't we look at the agreement first? Ethan's eyes were somber. Do you think we can still talk about this agreement now? I sucked in a breath of cold air and silently took the agreement back again. Then I'll go ahead. Before the words could fall, he interrupted me sorrowfully. First what? Assistant sensed that the atmosphere was not right and had already run away in advance. The atmosphere in the box with the two of us left seemed even more depressing. The next second he condescendingly looked askance at me. I stepped back. Cannot hide. I closed my eyes. Ghostly came to say. The thing back then is really my bad. I am willing to make compensation. Adults should pay for their own mistakes. As the words fell, the box remained silent. Under the great sense of pressure, I hard to face his eyes. How much do you want to say? He gasped and laughed. You think I care about that little money? Me. Come to think of it, it's true that he doesn't lack that little bit of money now. I've already thought through the optimal solution. It's already happened. I can't be bullied back by you. Can I? I can. Me? I blinked, suspecting that something was wrong with my ears. Looking at the man's cold face, I began to research the correct interpretation of the word bully. After struggling for a long time, I silently spoke. Do you want to beat me up or do you want that? Ethan raised his eyebrows. What do you think? I covered my face and put my hands around my chest again. You. Don't mess around. Be careful, I call the police. Ethan looked at me with interest. So I should have called the police 3 years ago. I blinked sheepishly. I'm at the disadvantage in this situation. Even if I continue to argue, the situation will only get worse. It might as well be better to walk away. I pulled the corner of my mouth awkwardly. I suddenly remembered that I have something else to do in a while. Well, make another appointment. The voice in my ear was low and husky. Sophia. Where are you trying to escape to again? I pursed my lips and went through the words I could explain in my head. But I felt that they were all quite pale and weak. I raised my hand in shock and pointed in the other direction. Dad. Why are you here again? As Ethan glanced sideways, I quickly darted for the door. Until I got on the cab to go back. My little heart was still pounding. Thinking about what Ethan's assistant had said, my feelings became incredibly complicated again. And after struggling for a long time, I simply took out my cell phone to send a message to BFF. I left these 3 years. Ethan is looking for me all over the world. In what name is he looking for me? BFF replied very quickly. I'll help you find out. Because over the years, in order to keep the message of my fake death from being exposed, BFF and Ethan also kept a relatively long distance from each other. But she quickly got back to me. Oh my God. He keeps saying you're her girlfriend. I asked around. It was his friend who said it. Looking at those words, I was in deep thought. BFF then sent me a shocked expression. He doesn't know you're not dead yet. Does he? Dang, unattainable heartthrob keeps claiming to the public that you're his dead girlfriend. He must be super in love. I stared at the screen, the guilt in my heart suddenly deepening. BFF's side continued to press. What have you guys gotten into behind our backs? I can't believe you guys didn't have a heartfelt relationship with this emotional state. I don't believe it. At that time in the school, you two were quite normal. I didn't expect it to have developed into this kind of situation. You're also quite impressive. To make the unattainable heartthrob of our school die for you like this. Quickly. Describe your process. Looking at the flurry of messages from BFF, my heart felt like it was being tightly pressed by a large stone. This is a long story. I'll talk to you in detail afterward when I have the chance. After sending it, I leaned back in the back seat tiredly. How could I not have thought that the medical mix-up of the year, a moment of drunkenness, would have such a chain reaction? More than that, I never thought that unattainable heartthrob Ethan would take me so seriously. The moment I stepped into the door of my home, I was shocked by the heavy low air pressure in the house. Looking over to the couch, my dad and mom were looking seriously my way. I hesitantly went that way. Hey. Why are you still up so late tonight? My mom coughed lightly. Aren't you going to say anything to us? I'm still trying to fight. What? My dad was giving me a crazy wink. Mr. Song just called and said that the agreement was not signed. And said that you have to be the counterpart in order to continue the agreement in the future. My mom roared. Sophia. What are you hiding from us? I shook my head. I didn't. Your father saw it. And you still say you didn't. My mom looked at me exasperated. Have you offended him? Me. My mom retreated to the next best thing. Since you know the client this time, things will be much easier. And you will be directly responsible for this project. Otherwise the company will lose a lot of money. This is a big client. I pitifully looked at my dad intending to ask for help. But he directly avoided my sight. If I took this project, wouldn't I have to avoid getting involved with Ethan again? Thinking about all the things I'd done to him made me feel weak. So how could I face him? Luckily, my brain was quick. In fact, It's because this man has been slagged off by me before and cheated on his feelings by me. If this project is handed over to me, it must be screwed up. I squeezed 2 tears out of the corner of my eye as hard as I could in an attempt to make the words ring true. Just when I felt like I was about to pull it off, my mom called my name in direct seriousness. Sophia. I shuddered and met my mom's serious expression. You were born to me. How much weight do I not know? How can someone like you still fool Mr. Song? To think that you still have the audacity to say that you've slagged him off. I think it's more like he's slagged you off. Me. This is rubbing my pride on the ground. I tried to explain with a bitter face. My dad, however, gave me a serious look. Our family yin must be afraid of not being able to hold agreement and talking nonsense. Right? No. I shook my head firmly. I really can't take this one. My mom gave me an ultimatum. If you don't take this project, I'll ask Mr. Song myself. I looked at my dad and cried. Dad. Say something. Of course I couldn't let my mom ask Ethan. If Ethan told me what happened back then, I would be kicked out of the house by my parents. I could only speak with a stiff upper lip. I'm taking on this project. My mom was relentless. I have to take it. Me. Is this your mom? Since I had promised my parents that I would take the project, I had to do it alone the next day. The next day, I had to go to Ethan's company alone. Since I didn't have an appointment, I thought I would have to wait for quite a long time. I didn't expect that when I just reported my name, the receptionist immediately smiled and said, Ms. Sia, come with me. I'll take you to the executive office. This kind of warm hospitality made me still quite confused. Before entering the executive office, I kept building myself up mentally. I really did something wrong back then. Now even if people want to retaliate back, it's only natural. No matter what happens in a while, I must endure. The receptionist personally led me into the office. Mr. Song. The person has been brought. A light fragrance filled the air. Still the same as 3 years ago. Easily seducing my mind. Aha. An extremely faint voice rang out. I clutched the agreement tightly in my hands and stared uneasily at my toes. Sophia. The magnetic voice carried a few meaningful emotions. Didn't you want to run away? Why are you back again? I withdrew my gaze from staring at the floor. When I looked up, I met Ethan's radiant and deep eyes. Crush for many years. Even though 3 years have passed. But this heart of mine still palpitates uncontrollably. Mr. Song. Song. This time I am here on behalf of Sa to talk about cooperation with you. My sentence just fell. He suddenly came to my side and looked at me condescendingly. Warm nostrils sprayed on my sensitive skin. I stiffened, not daring to move. I'm more interested in knowing how you want to deal with what happened back then. My ears instantly reddened at the thought of that night. Between twisting my head around, Ethan's large hands braced on either side of me, trapping me between him and the desk. I didn't dare look at him. I only dared to stare at his collar. I don't know how to deal with it. It's really a medical mix-up. If you don't believe me, I'll take you to the hospital. Well, didn't you say you wanted compensation? Compensation for what? He relentlessly asked again. Well, then, if you want to bully back. Ahawk. I'm really going out on a limb to be able to take agreement. I closed my eyes and waited for the punishment. But Ethan was slow to move. I silently opened my eyes and met Ethan's eyes. The color of his rippling eyes hit me right in the heart. Then I reacted as an afterthought. He'd been staring at me the whole time. I couldn't help but take several deep breaths to barely stabilize my pounding heart. But he had no intention of getting up. I can only maintain this position of being held in his arms, not knowing what to do. Even this close-up Ethan also looks good beyond words. How can someone be so without the slightest flaw? I was mesmerized by what I was looking at. When the man's low, hoarse voice suddenly rang out. Sophia. You've been on the run for 3 years. And it's not easy for me to catch you. So you should take charge this time. Right? Huh? Ethan then let go of me. I lowered my head. I didn't dare to look at him face to face. I never dared to think that the God of my heart, who I've been in love with for many years, would have different feelings for me. But after 3 years of me being away, it was obvious that he did. I was a little nervous. Asked him, "Do you mean you want to be with me?" "Yeah. It's all took advantage of and you're back. Can't you?" he asked me, frowning. After further entanglement, I lightly coughed. Think about it again. Again? Although left for 3 years. But see him again. I realized that all these years I never forgot him. He was a male god. Someone I liked. Good. Just consider it. The moment I said consider, I was surprised to see a faint smile lifting the corners of the ever-cool Ethan's lips. Listening to his sturdy and powerful heartbeat, I was able to confirm that this dreamlike moment was real. I wriggled and passed the agreement in front of him. "Why don't we get down to business first?" Ethan gave me an uneasy look. "You're not going to run away again, are you?" I nodded firmly. "No." He was relieved to hear my reply. He picked up the agreement and gave it a cursory glance before directly picking up a pen and signing his name. I frowned. "You're not going to read it more carefully?" He raised an eyebrow. "Is it possible to screw me over with an agreement from my future girlfriend's family?" "Me? No. Dang unattainable heartthrob. Seems like a love brain." I picked up the agreement and carefully looked at the treaty inside again, making sure there were no problems before I let out a sigh of relief. As soon as I was relieved, grrrrrr, a protest came from my stomach. I swallowed strategically to ease the embarrassment. He laughed helplessly. And the next second he had pulled out his cell phone. "Order me a mala crayfish and bring it in." I was getting a little touched again. He even knew that I like spicy crayfish. I pursed my lips. "How do you know I like spicy crayfish?" Ethan looked at me meaningfully. "Is it surprising to know what your favorite girl eats?" The crawfish was quickly delivered to Ethan's office. When assistant entered, he saw that I was there, and his eyes were shocked. But in the midst of the shock, he was also a bit relieved. Smelling the scent of the crayfish, my stomach began to protest again. "Sit down." Ethan pointed to the chair across the desk, then already put on his only pair of gloves and started peeling the crawfish. He deliberately ordered crayfish and peeled them in front of me. It can't be that he's intentionally craving for me. Can it? This man would not still be careful to hold a grudge, right? I internal a burst of abdominal slander. The next second, peeled crawfish meat is directly handed to my mouth. I somewhat did not react. "For me?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "What do you think?" "Me?" The treat was simply too good to be true. I was really flattered. I carefully opened my mouth and looked at the man who was carefully peeling the shrimp. Unable to stand the condemnation of my conscience, I carefully pinched up the meat of a lobster and passed it towards Ethan's mouth. He froze for a moment, then opened his mouth. The moment I put the lobster meat into his mouth, my fingertips inadvertently crossed his warm lips. A feeling of electrocution immediately spread from the fingertips to the whole body. I quickly retracted my hand, my cheeks burning red. Looking at my small red face, Ethan pleasantly hooked his lips. "I've done more intense things. But you're blushing because of this little thing?" "Me? How come I never knew that a high cool straight A student is also so good at flirting with girls? But what should I do? I like it so much." After meeting his deep eyes, I immediately and spinelessly averted my eyes. "Don't you? You have a cleanliness fetish. How can you help me peel crayfish so smoothly?" Ethan continued to help me peel the crayfish without slowing down. "It is a cleanliness fetish. But in your case, certain habits are not intolerable." Then he looked me seriously in the eyes. "Do you know how happy I am to see you alive?" The words were touching words though. But why do they sound so awkward? It's my fault. I wish I hadn't worried so much. Before I came out of his company, Ethan asked me again seriously, "You won't run away this time? Will you?" After I nodded my head firmly and left my cell phone number on Messenger, he let me go. The next days, I had more and more contact with Ethan. He even handled his work more efficiently. He was also very gentle with me. Ethan. What kind of person are you really? That afternoon, I looked at Ethan's face and suddenly spoke involuntarily. In the past, I had the impression that Ethan was a high-strung man who didn't talk often, especially with girls, and was full of studies. Now he seems clearly gentle. Which one is he anyway? What kind of person am I that you don't understand? Ethan looked at me. Then you were lying when you confessed to me before and said you liked me? Of course it's true. I've seen Ethan sparkle. I've also seen the way he usually helps Grandma cross the street. And even the way he studies hard in the library. I just didn't know you were so gentle. I spoke carefully. Oh. Ethan laughed softly. I'm not gentle at all. Just go out there and ask around and you'll see how cranky I am. I've been asking around for a long time. The Ethan of that year even skipped class in order to find me. Gee. What a sin. Of course I've also inquired about his current attitude towards his subordinates. It's really strict. That's why I'm not comfortable with the gentle him. So can I pass the test and be together? He asked me cautiously. When the project is successfully completed, we can consider it. I looked up arrogantly. But in my heart I was happy. I've always liked him. Of course I agree. Later on, we finished the project successfully. And when we were bonding with the company's team, he didn't allow me to drink. It's not easy to finish the project. Go home early. Don't drink. It's okay to drink a little. Who knows? After I finished drinking at night, I got a little dizzy. And I hugged Ethan and wouldn't let go of him. Vaguely, I felt the warmth on my lips. The next day, I was woken up by my dad's phone call. I answered the phone in a panic. Hello. Why haven't you been home all night? Where are you? My dad asked me anxiously. I stayed up late. I finished the project. Dad. I'll talk to you when I get back. I finished quickly and hung up the phone. Only then did I see Ethan put a glass of honey water in front of me. Drink some. Sober up? I stammered. I didn't do anything to you last night that I shouldn't have. Did I? What do you think? Ethan hooked his lips and took out his cell phone. I took pictures of everything last night. Me? I panicked and went over to him. And when I took a serious look, I was clinging to Ethan like an octopus. Boyfriend. Kiss. Wow. Straight A student is my boyfriend now. Ha ha ha. Pinch your waist. I'm so proud of you. My boyfriend is the most handsome in the world. It's a shame to confess so loudly. It's almost like I don't have eyes to see. I stammered. Red-faced. I also agreed to be your girlfriend? He nodded. Yeah. Girlfriend. Ethan reached out and touched my head. No running off in the future. Promise me. Okay. I reluctantly promised him. I excitedly rushed home with the successfully completed project in my arms. And the moment I saw the agreement, my dad froze for a few seconds. Did you really get it? I pushed the agreement in front of him. You're really worthy of being my good daughter. You've inherited my good tradition. And you've even finished the project. This project has played a vital role in the development of our company. It seems that sending you to study abroad was the right choice. But the most important thing is that my daughter is smart and capable. Under my dad's loud rainbow farts, I gradually lost myself. As I slightly raised my chin, he actually gave me a line. Seeing that you're so capable, I'm able to slowly loosen my grip and leave some of the company's affairs to you to take care of. Me. It's just right to take advantage of this time to let you slowly take over the company's affairs. Your mom and I haven't traveled out for a long time either. We are planning to go out for a good spin this time. As a celebration of the company negotiating a big project. I twitched the corner of my mouth. I'm the one who negotiated the project. Shouldn't I be the one to go out and relax? My dad gave me a blank look. Your mom and I have managed to make it until you grew up and became a genius. Now we want to go out for a trip. What's wrong with that? His simple sentence directly disliked me to the point of being speechless. I could only retreat. So when are you guys coming back? My dad had already taken out his cell phone and started to make a travel guide. It's possible to come back at any time. After all, now that the company has you in it, we are relieved. In this way, I drove my parents to the airport with tears in my eyes. Having just finished the project. At the airport, I hugged my mom tightly. You guys should come back earlier. Don't forget that your daughter is still working at the company, she said. My mom also gently patted me on the back. My daughter has grown up, finally able to take charge of. Don't worry. Mom will bring you a lot of souvenirs when you go out this time. My dad looked at me solemnly. Yen. We look forward to seeing you grow even more dazzlingly after this return. I reluctantly asked my dad again. Don't you think you're letting go a little too quickly? My dad said calmly. I have confidence in my daughter. And even if I don't have confidence in you, I should have confidence in Mr. Song. He's a real dad. Just as our family of 3 were staging a touching parting, there was a sudden roar outside the airport. There was a sudden commotion outside the airport. Ethan and assistant ran towards us with quick steps, with Song's security personnel trailing behind him. My mind went blank at that moment. And my parents were equally unresponsive. Ethan's face was gloomy. And his eyes were fixed on a suitcase beside me. It carried an infinite coldness. Sophia. Is this what you call no more running away? I sucked in a cool breath and silently moved my feet to keep my distance from my mom's suitcase. That. You listen to me explain. This suitcase is not mine. Ethan gasped and laughed. Okay. Go ahead. I pursed my lips and tried to explain the causes and consequences. Actually, it was my parents who wanted to travel abroad. I was just sending them to the airport. I really didn't want to escape. I used the most pale and powerless words to desperately explain. But the more I explained, the more uneasy I felt. At the same time, a strong self-reproach welled up in my heart. When I suddenly disappeared back then, it must have left quite a shadow in Ethan's heart. As a result, he couldn't wait to rush over when I was standing at the airport today. My dad and my mom were also taken aback by such a formation. After they stepped forward, they instinctively protected me behind themselves. Mr. Song, I don't know what kind of past you have with my daughter, but now that we're here, there's no way we're going to let you touch a single finger of my daughter. Me. Trouble. Big misunderstanding. Ethan also calmed down from his anxiousness, showing embarrassment, and then politely spoke. Auntie and uncle, I think you may really have some misunderstanding in this matter. My mom, who is a hot-tempered person, directly said. We all saw it. What is there to misunderstand? Seeing that things were getting weirder and weirder, I went forward and held my mom's hand. Mom, this is actually a misunderstanding. You and Dad should board the plane first. I'll call you to tell you the details. Mom and Dad are dead set against taking a step. Ethan stepped forward and was sincere. Uncle and Aunt. In fact, my relationship with Yen is indeed a little complicated. When I heard this, my mom and dad were even more unsettled. I know. I have to appear. So I briefly and succinctly explained the matter of Ethan's slagging in the first place. My dad? My mom? There was silence. My mom looked at me as if I had done well to actually do something like slag off Ethan. In the end, it was my dad who knew better. He quickly calmed down, and then directly came to a formal consignment. Since Yen had failed Mr. Song's feelings in the first place, then now we hand her over to you. And you guys work out the problems of the year. Looking at my dad and mom handing over my hand to Ethan's hand, I was baffled. Won't it be too hasty? My dad also gave me a wink. Mr. Song is a very nice person. You should cherish him. After that, he and my mom happily went to travel. It's a big departure. After coming back from the airport, Ethan and I were officially in love. Every day I can count the benefits of having a love brain. I feel pampered all the time. I'm officially helping out at the company. And I'm taking over the agreement with Song. Working with Ethan, I was very relieved to have everything we needed on our side. When I arrived at Song's, I basically cozied up on the couch, sipping bubble tea and watching Ethan go about his business. On this day, Ethan's college classmates to the company as a guest see me like a hostess lying on the sofa. Mouth surprised can be stuffed into an egg. Then went up and patted Ethan's shoulder. Your kid line, when the crush has not been open. I always thought you two yellow it. Did not expect this or directly together. I didn't expect you two to get together. You're not a brother enough. You're together and you didn't even share the good news. After hearing the other's words, I looked at Ethan inquisitively. You had a crush on me all along? I thought Ethan had fallen for me after I took advantage of him. Now I feel like I've been set up. His classmate then realized that he said the wrong thing and violently covered his mouth. I suddenly remembered that I still have something to do. I'll come back to visit some other time. Looking at the back of the other parties fleeing, I step by step stepped closer to Ethan. Been secretly in love with me? The panic on Ethan's face flickered. And the moment I approached, he violently wrapped his arms around my waist. His cold face was filled with tenderness. You had a crush on me. And I had a crush on you. Isn't that a beautiful two-way street? His breath sprayed on my sensitive skin, causing me to unconsciously tremble. This is not the same. Who would have thought that a big straight-A student would like me? He stroked my hair tenderly. Anyway, we didn't miss each other. Did we? Me. He briefly explained. And I was surprised that it made sense to me. Are you going to be eaten to death? So, be honest. When did you like me? I looked over at him. Since you sneak into the bubble tea store where I work part-time to buy bubble tea. Or maybe since you always follow me to the library. Anyway, when you were watching me, I was watching you too. Ethan hugged me. Yen. It's a good thing it was a medical mix-up. And it's a good thing you're here with me now. Yeah. It's good that everything is just right. I hooked my lips and smiled. Straight-A student boyfriend's good. Unspeakably good,